Yes, that is the YMCA. And it only makes sense to have Trump do it, right?
It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA.
Oh, baby. Big victory. Donald Trump never gets tired of winning. Never. Never, ever, ever, ever. Folks. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I love winning. Winning feels so fucking good. It's good to see all of you in the chat. Patriots. Hello. You see it on your screen. You should be ecstatic. It's a good day. It's another good day to be a MAGA supporter. It feels so good. Well, total victory, baby. New York Appeals Court today has overturned the massive fraudulent civil fraud penalty against Donald Trump, ruling that nearly $500 million fine was excessive under the 8th Amendment. Now, we're going to salivate in this. We're going to bask in all the glory of what this is, because we were told he's a fraudster. He's corrupt. You voted for a fraud, a felon. Well, the 5-judge appeals court panel ruled that the $355 million penalty against Trump, not including interest, is an excessive fine that violates the 8th Amendment of the United States Constitution. The Associated Press reported the total fine levied by Manhattan Supreme Court Judge Arthur Engoron, the psycho, against Trump and other executives in the Trump organization, including Eric and Donald Trump Jr., exceeded $527 million when interest was factored in. Well. Oh, boy. The civil fraud case against Trump was brought by New York Democratic Attorney General Letitia James, who alleged that Trump inflated his net worth to gain favorable terms from lenders. Well, Judge Aragon sided with James, finding that between 2014 and 2021, to recall our memory, the president overhauled his assets by up to $2.2 billion. The judge ordered Trump to pay the massive fine while also barring him from running his business in New York for 3 years. Well, while the appeals court threw out the massive fine, it kept the ruling in place that Trump committed fraud, leaving open the option for an appeal at the state's highest court. The judge also kept the other penalties on Trump's company in place, but said that the president can seek a further extension on the pause on those penalties. Total victory in the fake New York state attorney, the Attorney General Letitia James case. I greatly respect the fact of the court that the courage to throw out this unlawful and disgraceful decision that was hurting businesses and business all throughout the New York state. Others were afraid to do business here. The amount, including interest and penalties, were $550 million. Can you believe that shit, Marco? Pete, can you believe that, JD? Unbelievable. Despicable, fraudulent. It was a political witch hunt in a business sense, like it always has been, which no one has ever seen before. It's crazy. It was like the Salem witch trials. I was there. I saw it. This was a case of election interference by the state and city trying to show illegally that I did things that were wrong when, in fact, everything I did was absolutely correct and even perfect. Well, it goes on here. Judge David Friedman ripped James for bringing the lawsuit, writing plainly her ultimate goal was not market hygiene, but political hygiene, ending with the derailment of the president's political career and the destruction of his real estate business. I mean, we all know, we all saw past it. The only people that didn't were the Democrats for some ungodly reason. I don't know why they couldn't see it, but you know, hey, they say I don't see a lot of things. The voters were obviously rendered a verdict on his political career. The bench today unanimously derails the effort to destroy his business. Appellate Division Judge Peter Moulton said in a concurring opinion that the calculation of the disgorgement in this case was far from a reasonable approximation. The panel, however, was divided in its ruling, issuing more than 300 pages of concurring and dissenting opinions, according to the Associated Press. So President Trump did nothing wrong. Haba added at the time, all he's done is win a campaign. And this is scaring them because they know when he goes back in November, baby, he's going to clean house. And he did. And that is truly a problem for all of them. So big win by Donald Trump. This is also something that is trending currently. Again, the court strikes it down. Here's a little bit of that old school video with the judge. This clip always reminded me of The Office. Let's check this out. Look at this. I don't know if anybody saw The Office, but that's totally what it's like. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? So there you have that. Massive win. Donald Trump Jr. is tweeting New York appeals court just threw out President Trump's $500 million plus civil fraud penalty. Love that. It's always been a witch hunt, election interference, and totally miscarriage of justice. Correct. This is by the way, this is a big, huge victory for Donald Trump. Massive and a huge defeat for James here, who I also have heard she's in some sort of big trouble as well. So here we have this breaking.
There's a Fox News alert here.
Jesus.
An appeals court has just thrown out President Donald Trump's $364 million civil fraud penalty. This just happened. It is a developing story. We're getting a lot more information, a big news story for the day. We're going to bring you more details as we get them. This just in. There's a Fox News.
That's huge. That's huge. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's covering it. It's big. It's massive. It's never ending. So huge win for Donald Trump, and good for him. He deserves it. The judge is so creepy, right? Is it? I hear. You know what? Yeah, you take a guess. Doesn't that guy look like he's the type of guy that would like, what's that stuff? He'd chloroform you. You know, ladies, he'd chloroform you at a bar. Next thing you know, you're in his like weird ass basement, and he's just like telling you how he's a judge and that he's going to get after Donald Trump. But don't worry, only after I eat your body. Like some freaking, what's that guy's name that used to eat people? Jeffrey Dahmer. Yeah, that's that guy. You know what I mean? And he's just sitting there sharpening his freaking blade as you're tied to the table. He's like, I'm going to eat you right after I get done with Donald Trump, you freaking psycho. Stark MAGA. That's what we do here. We have a little bit of fun. Like, Jesus, Brad, what's wrong with you? That's a little deep. That's a little like, where'd you get that from, you weirdo? I don't know. Something happened when I was a kid. Oh boy, it's good seeing you guys. Let's go to the chat here a little bit. The frosting on the Trump win will be Letitia getting in a lot of trouble, have to spend a lot of money in lawyer fees. Letitia's a loser. Yes. Hannibal Lecter. Yep, there you go. Candy has it. Hannibal Lecter. Mike says, dude looks like a creepy old man from the Poltergeist. Let's look again. You might. Yep. Absolutely. Look at him. Now, I don't like to point fingers or names, but I know Letitia here. She's giving me freaking, what is that? No. The Nutty Professor vibes. She's giving me Nutty Professor vibes with Eddie Murphy. You guys remember that? Yep. Anyways, that's there for you. Good for Trump. Nothing but winning. So much winning. So much. So there's that for you. Let's see what else is trending here in the news. I mean, I have not seen anything whatsoever. The Cracker Barrel still popping off. People are still upset over the Cracker Barrel. I can't believe it. I appreciate you guys commenting on my video. I was reading some of your guys' responses about the Cracker Barrel. Things are crazy. We have this here. Lemonis rejects California and Bed Bath & Beyond's revival. I thought this was happening, so I guess it was crushed. Just yesterday, Executive Chairman of Bed Bath & Beyond announced the retailer would bypass California in its plan to reopen or open over 300 stores nationwide, blaming the state's high taxes, fees, and regulations for making business unattainable. Yeah, somebody that lives here, absolutely. Businesses are fleeing left and right because Gavin Newsom and the Democrat Party taxes people and regulates people out of oblivion. And that's why they go to other states. And you know what? Good for states like your guys's. You know, I'm glad you're getting all that business because at some point, Democrats need to wake up here and go, gee, not very business friendly. Don't really like it here. I'm going to take my money and my employees and go somewhere else. And that's exactly what they're doing. Gavin Newsom responded with sarcasm, of course, because that's all he has, mocking the company's past bankruptcy and defending California's economy, sparking heated social media debates about states' policies and corporate flight. No, that's a real great job. Gavin. Go ahead and mock people. Next, he's going to announce that Blockbuster wants to move back to California too. Wow, that's hilarious. Really just hilarious, Gavin. While all these other places are getting tax revenue and you're not getting anything because you're an idiot.
California has a constitution, and we now have a governor that wants to change the constitution for his own political belief. We have a governor who spends more time on
He's
this
right.
instead of trying to encourage Bed Bath & Beyond to move back to California. California.
He's not wrong. Let's see what other people are saying. Hey, Jordan, Circuit City doesn't have any stores in California or anywhere for that matter. It's online only. Why are you spreading disinformation? It says here, this is the first domino to fall. Just off the phone with somebody who said Circuit City is closing all stores in California next week. That's a little odd quote. Yeah, Circuit City hasn't been around in a while. Here's another one from Gavin. The company that already went bankrupt and closed every store across the country 2 years ago, ? Okay. Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean that you can't try to create and do something different this time, Gavin. But I think it's incredible. A guy that doesn't know anything about business is the one that's going to tell people about business. Yeah, there's a reason why everybody's leaving your state, bud. Nobody wants to be here and nobody wants to do business here. Blockbuster Video will join Bed Bath & Beyond and won't open another store in California because of Gavin Newsom. So just a bunch of people being smartasses, but that's fine. Sooner or later, people will wake up to the fact that nobody wants to do business here and they'll just go everywhere else. And at that point, it's too late. Love to have Brad play it, though. What are we looking at here? Play what? We'll wait until after Dark Maga. What are we waiting for? What do I need to play? What? Let me know. The Poltergeist? I don't know what you want me to play. You let me know, Newport. Let's see here. They rebranded with Wayfair. That is, I know that. Yeah, I heard there was a rebranding of it. Well, here's Donald Trump Jr. A little while ago for Newsmax talking about the court case. Let's check this out.
Sir, man, you know what? I can't say how happy I am to hear this verdict today.
Yeah, listen, it's pretty good. We're definitely excited. As the guy that got to open and close the case for us, the whole thing was always such a sham. I'm sitting there. I remember as I'm giving testimony, explaining to Mar-a-Lago that maybe it's worth a little bit more than $18 million when it's 20 acres on the water, on the lake, Mar-a-Lago, in Palm Beach, where, the quarter-acre, tear-down house from 1970, a block and a half away, is on the market for $50-60 million. It didn't matter. Even the judge, I got done testifying, he gives me a fist bump. He's like, that was a really good explanation. But it didn't matter, Carl. That was the point. They had actually found us guilty of all of these things before we even got to the trial. There wasn't a jury allowed to be on the trial because this was already rigged. They understood what they were planning on doing. It was all a distraction, no different than what you saw with Alvin Bragg, no different than what you saw with Bonnie Willis down in Georgia. They brought cases in places where they knew the jury pool or the people were 100% Democrat-leaning. Fani brought in her boyfriend, who was like a family court guy, trying something for the first time ever. Coincidentally, by total magic, I'm sure, 3 days later, he's visiting the Biden administration multiple times at the White House. I'm sure they had nothing to do with it.
No, they were unrelated.
He was there for tea and crumpets. But this is the insanity that we've seen, the lawfare. And what really sucks about all of it is, we still have to spend over the course of the last 8 years, 10 years, hundreds of millions of dollars in legal fees, because as you said very correctly, the process is the punishment. There's no recourse to them. They're playing with house money. So even if they lose, even if they embarrass themselves, even if they embarrass the Constitution itself, it doesn't matter. They get to get their pound of flesh one way or the other, and it's disgraceful. Yeah,
but, Big Tish has built in $10 million into a legal slush fund out of the people of New York are going to pay up to $10 million should your father use the Justice Department to rightfully go after her for violating, the Eighth Amendment in this case.
Well, it should be a lot more than $10 million when you think about what we've actually spent in that. Again, it doesn't matter. $10 million, that's a pittance. As much money as that sounds, when you think of the years and the decades that we've been dealing with this crap from these partisan hacks. Don't forget, Tish James campaigned that she was going to take down Trump. Now, this was before she had any access to documents. She just said, hey, this is good for donors. I'm going to rake in money. I'll raise funds on it. He's guilty before we've even seen any of the evidence. So it doesn't matter. So today is still a very good day. Obviously, it's a huge win. But the fact that they allowed these things to go on, the fact that even the court said, well, the Attorney General has the power to do these things. What, she has the power to extort future businesses years later when there's no victim? Yeah, I'm going to go there. I don't love the deal that you two made because you didn't donate to my campaign. I'm just going to sue you. And even when you win, we're going to cost you time, money, headaches, assets, whatever it may be, for decades. It sets a terrible precedent. It's why everyone's fleeing the state of New York and no one wants to domicile there or do business there.
Gee, didn't we just hear that about the state of California as well? Yes, sir.
Well, Don, that's the other thing, too, is she's celebrating. I said it earlier. She's celebrating the fact that you can't do business there. Like, how many jobs? Let's say none of this happened and New York was hunky-dory just like it was back when your dad rebuilt the ice rink on time and under budget. You know, how many jobs, more jobs, do you think you guys as a company would have brought to the city and state of New York had they been more friendly to you?
Oh, I mean, it's thousands of jobs. If you go across all of our companies, it's a lot more than that. But it's not about us, honestly. Think of all the companies that are pulling jobs. Think of, you know, the guys that are the creators, the CEOs, the entrepreneurs that are saying, you know what, I can deal with this, or I can, I don't know, move to Florida where I know this is never going to come into play. Think of all of the people that those people would have employed in New York that are just never going to be employed. Think of the tax base that is fleeing the city that pays
hey,
for
what's
all
going
the
on, Greg?
nonsense
It's good to
that the
see you,
new
brother. Glad you
Communist
joined
Party
us.
in New York
It's good
City
seeing you.
wants to put into place.
Shout out to Greg in the chat.
It's a really scary idea. You're going to create a dystopian society from the capital of capitalism. Yeah. And that's a sad thing. I mean, as someone who spent most of my career and watched my father spend his entire career before politics building and changing the skyline of New York, you scare out those guys, what's left?
Yeah.
Well, not only do you have this, right? I mean, it's almost compounding now because you have what is happening with Donald Trump. If they're going to go after a figure like that, I mean, imagine what they're going to do to the smaller fish like all of us. And then furthermore, now you got Zohran Mamdani running for the mayor of New York City, where he's talking about, hey, you know, if you don't have a complex that's rented out, don't worry, we'll rent it out for you real quick. He wants to do basically rent structure, you know, put a ceiling on that, all sorts of stuff. The freaking government grocery store thing is just completely wild. So, I mean, that whole place, like I said, I hope all of this happens, by the way, to New York. I hope it happens to California where I live. Just let everything fall. Let it crumble and burn to the ground. That way, hopefully, Democrats will wake up sooner or later, because when you got nothing in front of you, maybe that will wake some of you up. Heck, I mean, it did it with Spencer Pratt over there in the Palisades where he had his freaking house burned down. I believe he was a Democrat before, and now he's going after Gavin Newsom each and every day on TikTok. He's one of the main people that's calling out that guy's scumminess. Well, it took for him to have his house burned down, it seems like. I don't believe he was a Republican. I could be wrong, but it took his house to get burned down, and then him to realize, wow, Democrats don't really care all that much, do they? Remember when Karen Bass sat there with Donald Trump the same week that the place was just all lit on fire, and Donald Trump said, hey, let's get garbage trucks in tonight. Let's get people able to start rebuilding as of tonight. She goes, oh, well, we'll maybe do it in a week. He goes, no, let's do it tonight. She goes, okay, fine, tonight. Folks, how many months has it been since that happened, and we're still sitting here? It's unbelievable. Yeah, you know what? This is what happens in Democrat-ran areas. You got to leave it up to Donald Trump to clean things up, but it's a little bit tough when you have these rogue judges. You got these rogue attorney generals from the states going after their political opponents like this. And well, that's why the penalty was ultimately voided, because it was a bunch of BS.
I'll put you down for a definite maybe for Mamdani's victory party. But your dad is going to be patrolling the streets of D.C. I mean, First off, your dad's almost 80 years old. I have never seen anybody at this pace, even my age, Don.
Yeah. Now, listen, what a baller move, right? I mean, it's just such a flex. He's going to go out there and do it himself. But that's why the people elected him, Carl.
I hope Donald Trump puts on the badge. You know what I mean? He's out there, what's up, suckers? He's like Cartman, respect my authority. Respect me. That would be so cool. He has on the aviator. He puts on Joe Biden's aviators just to piss him off. Who wore it better, Joe? Who fought the law and the law won? Who fought the law and the law won?
They elected him because they understand that he's not a bureaucrat. He's not a politician. He's actually a doer. So he's going to get out there with the men and women who do these things, who keep our city safe. And despite all the uproar you saw from the Democrats in the media, it's interesting when you do all the candid interviews of people on the streets of D.C., 93% of whom are hardened leftists. They're like, no, this is great. I feel safe. This is a wonderful thing. Let's do this. Maybe we should roll out the tour to Portland, Seattle, the other, what we'd call, crap hole cities of the country, not because they're crap holes, but because Democrats made them so.
Yeah.
Maybe we're
Yes,
going to
sir.
expand this because it's sort of interesting when
Isn't it amazing? This is exactly what we talk about on our show here all the time. It's like, Don, you're speaking my language, baby. This is exactly what we say every single week, Don.
a very left-leaning base is actually encouraging these kind of policies because they know the truth. They know they're getting carjacked. They know the murder rate was going through the roof.
Yeah.
Just because they changed the way they measure statistics doesn't mean the crime didn't actually take place.
Correct.
But that's what they've done. You've seen that with the Democrats all along. They changed the statistics. They changed the way they measure things, and they look, it's a huge win. Meanwhile, everyone's getting carjacked and murdered. That doesn't work anymore. The people on the streets aren't buying it. I think this is great policy, and I love that he's getting out there with the people to actually take part in this.
Well, Don, if you could put in a good word for me, I'd love to be the turret gunner on that security detail. Just saying, when he goes to Portland.
Just saying. Just saying. Listen, hey, no one would do it better than you, Carl.
All right.
Great clip there by Carl and Don Jr. And if you notice, he's speaking logic. There's nothing savvy about what Don Jr. is saying here. It's just like what Adam Carolla does. It's just common sense, average Joe talk here. Nothing crazy. Well done, sir. Appreciate you. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and retweet that. If you're not following me over on Twitter, what are you doing? But welcome to Dark Mag. Again, this is something we do at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time each and every Tuesday and Thursday. Usually it's on Rumble only, meaning Rumble Premium. But when we hit our hours, we go ahead and open up to everybody else because that's what it's all about. It's all about the community here on the Ball Brad channel. And I'll tell you what, we have one of the best communities out there. So I'm glad Greg is joining us now because Greg has the opportunity to take part in the chat with everybody else here as well. So shout out to you. Thank you for subscribing. We appreciate that. Well, moving into other news here, let's see what we have going on. Again, the big news of the day was another Trump victory. I don't know about you guys, but I love winning. I love it so much that I hope it never ends. And the big win would be obviously the Ukraine and Russia war that's happening. But let's see what else we have here for you today. Let me go ahead and pull this up for all of you. The chat here says, what's going on, Black? Everyone's going to shout out to Black. Sheriff Trump. Yeah, wouldn't that be so cool if Trump just comes out and says, I'm going to whip you into shape. And he's just going down the street with his baton, slapping it like the old school cops did back in the day. Well, Donald Trump was with law enforcement and military personnel making D.C. safe and clean again. They love this guy, dude. The military loves Trump. The left like to say, oh, they don't like him. Oh, blah, blah, blah. No, they love this guy. The military love him. I love him. He's great.
I just want to thank everybody very much for being here. I wanted to do this. We've had some incredible results. The results have come out, and it's like a different place. It's like a different city. It's the capital. It's going to be the best in the world. We're going to do what you're doing with law enforcement, and very importantly also, we're going to physically do it. We're going back to Congress for some money, and we're going to redo a lot of the pavement, a lot of the medians, a lot of the graffiti's all coming off real fast. It's going to come down real fast.
Why is the president having to do this? By the way, it's the end of the clip, but you get what to get the graffiti off, to get the homeless out, to repave the streets and the sidewalk. I mean, why is the president having to do this, Democrats? And by the way, some Republican mayors and governors as well. Why is the president of the United States having to do this? Why is the mayor not doing it? Why is the localities not figuring this out? Why? Because the leadership sucks is why. And it's on both sides, to be fair. It's on both sides.
But I've never received so many phone calls thanking me for what we've done in Washington, D.C. from people that haven't gone to a restaurant literally in 4 years. And they said, you know, what you've done it's unprecedented because what they said it was just unsafe. We couldn't do it. We'd go out and you'd see the stories, you'd read the stories, you'd see all of the things that are happening. And they said, we couldn't stand it, sir. And now I take my wife and my kids to dinner. One of them said he's gone out 4 nights in a row, and he hadn't gone out for 4 years. So it's a great tribute to you. And when I look at you people, I understand why, because there's no games, right? We're not playing games. We're going to make it safe. And we're going to then go on to other places. But we're going to stay here for a while. We want to make this absolutely perfect. It's our capital. And I guess it used to be many years ago, say, but it's certainly not had a very good run. But
no, and it's like that with a lot of seasons. Quite frankly, people have had enough. And this is not the job of the president. It's the job of those that are running the local governments and the state governments, and they don't want to do it. And we've all had enough of it. I mean, really. And you know, excuse me, it's not just Republicans that are thankful for this. Democrats are walking the streets as well, thankful. And how many interviews have we watched, either ourselves or on the show here, where people are walking around D.C. saying, hey, we appreciate this. Now, it might have been displayed on Dark Mag or even a regular podcast. There's a bunch of clips that you can watch of people walking down the street going, wow, I can walk around the street. It's quiet. It's peaceful. There's nothing going on. And that's nice because you know what? That's where your tax dollars are going. And it's sadly, one of the things we're going to be doing is your parks. So he just has to go ahead and do everything now because the Democrats don't want to do anything. And people still vote for it. I'm telling you, they love the crime. They love the drugs and the homeless. Well, how do we know that? Because they vote for it. They voted for Prop 47 in the state of California that allowed people to do smash and grabs. What do you mean? They wanted no cash bail. So now what happens? You get arrested. Well, just we'll see you when we see you. No big deal.
Going to be redoing is your parks. I'm very good at grass because I have a lot of golf courses all over the place. I know more about grass than any human being, I think, anywhere in the world. And we're going to be regrassing all of your parks, all brand new sprinkler systems, the best that you can buy, just like the Augusta. No, it'll look like Augusta. It'll look like, more importantly, Trump National Golf Club. That's even better. But we're going to have all brand new, beautiful grass. You know, like everything else, grass has a life. Do you know that? Grass has a life. You know, we have a life. And
the way he talks. Did you know grass is alive and it's green? Did you know grass is real?
The grass has a life. And the grass here died about 40 years ago. So we're going to be rebuilding all of your parks, and it's going to happen fast. It's going to go up like a miracle. So one of the things...
Now, to be fair, I would imagine he's talking about possibly the type of grass. You know, there's cool season grass. There's warm season grass. You actually have to be careful where you grow it. And, you know, if you don't take care of it, maintain it, I mean, you don't aerate it, you don't get enough iron and certain types of nutrients inside the soil. I'm very much into actual, believe it or not, I love watching guys redo their lawn to make it look like a putting green or like zoysia grass or like oh god, what's the I'm blanking on the name. I'm like somebody saying I love talking about grass, like ryegrass or like a blue ryegrass or whatever it is, that's just rich in iron, super green. But it's hilarious that this guy's having to do anything. So I guess the president invites National Guard and law enforcement to the White House to enjoy burgers and pizza. Why can't I get involved in that, Trump?
And I think you brought some food for him, didn't you, President?
So we have great hamburgers cooked by the White House, and we have pizza that I said don't do it in the White House because we went to a place that makes the best pizza. So we'll concede. But we have a lot of it, so we're going to have some fun. We'll eat, and I'll eat with you.
Yeah, Bermuda. Thank you, Bets.
Fun. We're going to celebrate, but then we're going to get back to work.
Bermuda's one of them, too. Bermuda's beautiful.
We're going to put them where they have to be. You're going to say, don't play around with us. Don't play around with us.
I mean, it's great. You don't see this from Biden. You don't see this from Gavin. Democrats don't care about the law enforcement. They want to defund the police. The Democrats want these social workers or whatever these people are, they're part of the police department, to show up to disturbances with no firearm or nothing, just with a clipboard and a pencil. You guys hear about this stuff? You'll show up to some sort of domestic abuse, something going on with the family, and you're just hoping and praying that the other guy doesn't come out with a machete, a firearms, or some sort of weapon and slice you up or shoot you. This is Democrats thinking. Who the hell in their right mind would want to do? I mean, there's some people that will, believe it or not, they don't think about that. Just, oh, well, I'm playing the game of life, I suppose. You draw the short end of the straw, it's going to come back at you really quick, and it's going to look like in the shape of a bullet or a knife or something terrible, or you might just get your booty kicked. I don't know. But that's how they think. That's just how they think. I will never understand some of the policies the Democrat parties come up with. It's the wildest thing. I know we say it all the time, but it's crazy. It really is. I guess there's some breaking update here. Come Libs at TikTok. A teacher at this school who nominated a kid most likely to become a dictator because of his conservative views has been placed on leave. What the heck? Hold on a second. Here we go.
My son, 6 years old, was prohibited from sitting next to his friend on the school bus because a parent objected to my perspectives on book challenges. My older son's history teacher allowed students to label him a Nazi file simply for his interest in history and participation in ROTC. She later nominated my son as the most likely to become a dictator.
Oh, dude, she has the freaking... The lady was so crazy. The teacher was so crazy. She printed out a certificate. And it does say it. I pause it here. Most likely to become a dictator. Now, hey, what are the odds that it's actually a film class and it's supposed to say director? Oops. Oh, my God. Dude. Who does that? Who does that? Look, even if you're thinking it, you don't do that to a kid. What is wrong with people? Now, it makes teachers look bad is what it does, because people think, oh, this is happening everywhere. Folks, this is so rare, but it still should not happen. But there's psychos in every profession. We've all seen it. That's crazy, yo. Wow.
And had his classmates vote on it and try to force him to the front of the class to receive the certificate, which he rightly refused. All because of his conservative values and our perspectives.
She's shaking. She's pissed.
James.
My son, 6 years old, was
Wow. That sucks. 6-year-old kid, dude. I mean, look, kids can be bratty, but it doesn't mean you do that. What does it say? Reveals that her son was nominated by his teacher as most likely to become a dictator because he was a conservative and liked World War II history. By the way, a lot of conservatives like World War II. I love World War II and colonial period. I love that stuff. I don't know why that history just attracts to me so much. But yeah, 6 years old. Isn't that crazy? Wow, we haven't been to Libs a TikTok account in a while. Now, if you're used to Dark Maga, it's just us hanging out. We go over some news. We kind of figure out what the hell's going on. But our normal podcast, where we go over a bunch of different news articles, is 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time each and every morning. We have over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. We're growing on Rumble. We're going to hit 42,000 subscribers over at TikTok any day now. Things are looking really good for the Bald Brad Show, let me tell you. I wish that we had a bigger audience in the sense of getting the respect we deserve. By the way, we're one of the top 10 morning shows on Rumble. Just to let you know, if you're new here, we are one of the top 10 morning shows. And the ones that are beating us are all big corporations for the most part. Let's check this out, man. She gets some crazy, man, 6 years old. That blows my mind. This is the accident. This is the guy that made the illegal U-turn, the illegal alien that had a driver's license that deleted 3 people because he wanted to make a U-turn. But let's see what this is. Oh, here you go. Active shooter situation has been reported at University of PA. I did not hear about this. Let's check this out. This is an hour ago. Wow. Let's see if there's any updates on this. I did not hear about this. Maybe you guys did. Here we go again. Thoughts and prayers running on a tight schedule. When do actions get a turn? What's the solution, folks? When people say thoughts and prayers running tight on schedule, people don't understand that it's not necessarily for it to resolve the problem through the power of prayer, that your prayer within itself is what's going to fix the problem. Prayers can also go beyond that when people are transferring into the spiritual realm, that the Lord himself opens his arms to those people and forgives them of their sins, and so they can enter the kingdom of heaven. But for some ungodly reason, people can't really think about all the variables that go into why people have prayers going out for the family. Sometimes the power of prayer can make it so that you can ask the Lord, our God, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, to bring angels and command them to be around the family during that time of need to help them with their grieving process. It's amazing that people misunderstand prayer so often, that when you pray for an event that took place, that not only are you there for the loved ones that ended up passing away, but you're also there for the loved ones that have to deal with the grieving now in the process of burying either their son, their child, or whoever it is. I don't understand why people don't get that. It's not a hard process for me to get, but for some people, they just can't wrap it around their heads. I don't get it. I really don't get it. So have you guys seen this? So this was breaking today. I saw this earlier this morning. The Minnesota DFL is revoking the party's endorsement of Democrat socialist Omar Feta for Minneapolis mayor after there were substantial failures in the convention's voting process. They can't get their shit together. They can't get it together. Actually, matter of fact, let me see if I can go ahead and find that for you, because I saw that today. Hold on a second. I want to see if we can get an actual article on this for you, Patriots. It's just too good. It's too good to pass up. We got to bask in this. Here we go. 2 hours ago. Actually, let's do Axios. All right. A state Democratic Party committee revoked the Minneapolis DFL party's endorsement of mayoral candidate Omar Feta. I believe I'm pronouncing his last name right, citing major concerns with local party organizers handling the endorsing convention. Oh, well, what were those problems? Let's check. Why it matters. Well, Minnesota's officials' extraordinary decision undoes a triumph for the Democratic Socialist state senator that generated national buzz, cementing Fata as the Mamdani of Minneapolis, which is what we covered here on the show. We've covered this individual before, and emboldening left-wing critics hoping to unseat incumbent Mayor Jacob Frey. The decision also restores all candidates access to DFL's coveted voter database. The endorsement had briefly given the individual campaign exclusive access. So that's interesting. The big picture here is the overturned result could deepen fissures between more centrist and Democratic Socialists, allied factions bucking for more influence in the party at the local, state, and national levels. Isn't it crazy that the Democrat Party has gone so far left that they're just openly calling themselves socialists now? And they think that we're dumb enough just to believe the fact that they put the word Democrat in front of it, that makes things any better. And what's wild is they're the ones that say that we've gone further right. That conservatives and Republicans have gone further right. There's a reason why RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And that's why we had the story today that there was 2.4 million people that now became Republicans versus Democrats losing 2.1 million people. We covered that in this morning's podcast, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's amazing that the reason why Democrats like, Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. are with Donald Trump right now is because the Republican Party is more centrist than it was before, and it's more recognizable to the Democrat Party than ever before. Matter of fact, I've always said if you look at RFK's old speeches, it would sound like a modern day Republican. Now, I'm a fiscal conservative. It just so happens the Republican Party is the party that fits my narrative the most, not everything, but the most. And it's just crazy that, because they put Democratic in front of it, it automatically changes that they're socialist. By the way, they're stepping stones from communism, the fascism, the socialism, and all these other things. Just because you put Democratic in front of it doesn't change anything for me. Matter of fact, it makes it worse because now you're treating me like I'm an idiot, that I don't know what exactly you're trying to do. You're doing a sleight of hand here, and I don't like that. I don't like you treating me like I'm an idiot. Well, speaking of other school districts here, we have this. A parent blasting a high school district school board after a 6'4" male student was put on the girls' volleyball team despite never even playing the sport.
Powers. I am a resident of Hoffman Estates, and my daughter thankfully graduated Hoffman High 2.5 years ago. I'm speaking tonight to support the young women of the Conant girls volleyball team and their families after hearing the news that a boy is being allowed to compete on their team. I'm disgusted by the way this district has dismissed the safety of these young girls, as well as the safety of the young girls on the opposing teams that they will be playing. I am disgusted that the district is robbing these young women of athletic opportunities, not only at the high school level, but potential opportunities to compete at the collegiate level. The district is in direct violation of a federal executive order and risks losing their federal funding. The boy in question is 6'4" and has zero volleyball experience, yet somehow managed to make the team. A longtime beloved coach of the girls' volleyball team quit, and if she is here or watching, I have the utmost respect for you standing firm on your morals and values. Well,
we don't need to hear more of it. Like, geez, man. 70 girls reportedly tried out for the team and only 23 made it. The 24th spot was stolen by a male player. By the way, males jump higher, males hit harder. It's wild, but hey, you know what? That's what Democrats want to do. Completely wipe out, just wipe out women in their own sport. And they're okay with it. They don't see a problem with it whatsoever. And it's now happening in cheerleading, which we covered here on the show. You're seeing a lot of NFL sports teams now, including male cheerleaders in the dance portion of it. Not throwing the women up into the air like normal. No. They're dancing like the women now to a male-dominated sport that's primarily watched by males. Do you think a guy drinking a nice beer, trying to get away from it all, He finally gets to sit down on a Sunday. It's his one few hours that he gets of his wife stopping from nagging him to do the honeydews, to get out there, mow the lawn, to trim the bushes, to fix the floorboards, to paint the house, whatever the heck it is. The guy just gets a few hours of peace and quiet to drink a beer, have a cigar, a glass of whiskey, put his feet up on the lazy boy, and just watch the boys play some ball. And now he has to watch a guy dance like a woman, like she's, being all sexy in front of him now. Not exactly what a guy wants to do. He just can't get away from it. And then they wonder why men are struggling. Gee, I wonder why. Well, in other news here, we got Ian Sams. Now, Ian Sams you might not remember who this is. This is the thumb. This is kind of like DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. This was the White House counsel, the spokesman of the Biden administration. This is the individual who we saw a lot try to weasel his way around certain talking points. Well, Ian Sams worked as an aide and spokesman for former President Joe Biden and was often asked to defend the president's physical health and cognitive abilities. But according to recent testimony, Sams only actually met with then President Joe Biden face to face on 2 occasions, which is wild, because one of the issues they were having was not just Joe Biden's mental decline, but also you had, the Afghanistan pullout debacle, but most reminiscent was the classified document scandal where they kept finding classified documents next to his Corvette, in his garage, in the Biden Pence Center, falling out of his diaper, on the streets of Ireland, which was a real thing. And they were trying to get answers from Ian Sams. It turns out the dude, in 4 years, or however long he was with them, only met with them on 2 occasions face to face. Why? Because it's probably hard to meet Joe Biden when he's sleeping with a CPAP machine on. So James Comer, House Oversight Chairman, let out a bunch of details after the hearing of Sam testifying. So here that is.
I mean, I can't say this enough. I want to say this one more time so everyone understands. Ian Sams, who was the White House spokesperson.
This is crazy.
For a significant amount of Joe Biden's time as president, interacted with him 2 times.
That's wild.
2 times. So, we're going to continue to bring people in.
Wow.
And again, this person, Ian Sams, is the one that would counter everything.
Yep.
Robert Hur, or anytime anyone would suggest that Joe Biden wasn't mentally fit, he would say, no, he's at the top of his game. Every time he tweeted out several times, he gave interviews on MSNBC. Every time I've interacted with the president, he was sharp. He asked great questions. In there, under oath, he interacted with the president 2 times, the entire time.
That's crazy.
The entire time he worked in the White House.
Yo, you're the spokesperson for the president of the United States, man, and you only talked to the guy twice. Check this out. Ian Sams, a top Biden White House spokesman, just admitted to Congress he barely ever interacted with Joe Biden, yet he was the loudest voice insisting Joe Biden was fit. He was sharp. Folks, our show opener for 4 years was that Joe Biden hit a golf ball backwards, fell up a flight of stairs, looked for dead people in the crowd, was so far gone that he was tapping into the spiritual realm to where not only was he conversing with dead people, he was also seeing dead people. Joe Biden got lost all the time. Joe Biden couldn't name his generals. He thought he was running for senator during the campaign trail. He thought his wife was somebody else. He thought he was vice president when he was president. He thought Kamala Harris was president when she was vice president. He thought Barack Obama was in the office of the presidency again and that he was back in 2008 plus being vice president. I mean, the guy didn't know what was going on majority of the time, and they gaslit all of us for years, telling us that Joe Biden was sane, that he knew what was going on. His faculties are sharp, even though he said he was taking photos with people at events that were never there in the first place. Joe, there was nobody there. Matter of fact, the people that he said he took photos with at the event weren't even in the same state as him when he said that. Furthermore, this was a guy that was looking for dead people in the crowd, actively calling out their names. And then when it was brought up to Karine Jean-Pierre, the other spokesperson for the leader of the free world, she said, well, the person was just top of mind. Yeah, just top of mind, really. There's a lot of people that are top of mind, but it doesn't mean you go out looking for dead people. My father's top of mind too. He's been gone for quite some time. I don't go looking for him as if he's walking around this earth. That would be a problem. People would think I'm crazy. But when it comes to Joe Biden, Democrat Party, it's so normal to be crazy that when somebody's actually crazy, it's considered normal to them. And I'm not wrong. You could try to say I am, but I ain't. Well, let's get into a little bit of other news because Gavin Newsom, where is he at? He has some words for you. Gavin Newsom wants to physically assault you. So here we have again the Democrats, their rhetoric once again, as if it wasn't bad enough that their rhetoric led to multiple assassination attempts on a prior president, which is no shot coming from the Democrat Party since they're the party that tends to do the most assassination attempts if you look at the data. But it's amazing to me that you're all a threat to democracy. You're a threat to the Constitution. You're a threat to the Republic. You're a threat to the country. You're this or that. By the way, according to Joe Biden's DHS advisory board, you're also deemed a terrorist in your own country, meaning you're basically a terrorist. So that's always there for you. But now Gavin Newsom is physically threatening you now. Oh, no, we'll hear it from the horse's mouth. I have the clip here if it will load for me. Here he is.
We are incredibly honored to be joined on the Siren Podcast by the governor of California, Governor Gavin Newsom. Welcome to the Siren Podcast.
Wow. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I mean, you're making some news. You're a very busy man. So let's just jump right on in.
No, he's not. He doesn't do anything.
Can you please explain to our audience, what you're doing in the state of California regarding the potential redistricting of your congressional maps and why this may be something you have to do?
Well, we're fighting fire with fire. We don't want to do this, but to your point, your question rather, we have to do it at peril of being judged not only not to have lived, but to be judged watching democracy slip from right out underneath us. The reality is it's not just Texas that Donald Trump believes he's entitled to 5 congressional seats. He has sent his vice president to Indiana. He's making the case not just to what's going on up in Ohio, but Florida, Missouri, and other states. I imagine it's just the beginning. What, as we speak, is occurring in real time in Texas. And so my mindset, our mindset here in California is one of accountability, responsibility. We have agency. We're not bystanders. We can shape the future. And by taking some responsibility and moving assertively, as we have with the California legislature that just yesterday introduced a special election, a constitutional amendment that will, in essence, nullify the 5 votes that they claim to be picking up in Texas by asking the voters in a transparent and temporary way to make a determination for themselves to change our maps mid-decade in response to what occurred in Texas on November 4th.
Do you notice that Gavin Newsom doesn't mention the fact that his Constitution doesn't allow him to do that? Do you notice that he doesn't mention that? Look, Gavin Newsom, tough guy, threatens GOP. We're going to punch these SOBs in the mouth. Yeah, no, he said it. He said it. I thought it was in that clip, but we'll see if we can find it again. Changing his demeanor once again, California Governor Gavin Newsom is posing as Mr. Tough Guy, threatening Republicans with the following. So this is a message for all of you guys. Just a heads up. Here we go. Most of us are registered Republicans. We got a lot of independents in here. This is a quote. Here you go. We're going to punch these sons of bitches in the mouth. Yep. There you go. Gavin Newsom's going to get you. Asked what he was doing regarding redistricting in his home state, Newsom swaggered, we're fighting fire with fire. But there you have it. He's going to punch you right in the mouth. That's always fun.
This is radical rigging of a midterm election. Radical.
It's pretty radical that you're willing to throw out your own state constitution. But we won't bring that up, though, will we? Because we're slimy. This guy, I'm telling you, he's going to run in 2028, man. And I will sell it. I know I tell you guys that every day. He's going to destroy this country. He destroyed my state. I pray to God every day this guy's not running, but he will.
Rigging of an election, destroying, vandalizing this democracy, the rule of law. So I'm sorry. I know some people's sensibilities. I respect and appreciate that. But right now, with all due respect, we're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these sons of bitches in the mouth.
Oh, amen.
Punch these sons of bitches in the mouth. 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 Punch these sons of bitches in the mouth.
I'm just going to replay like the last 15 seconds because remember how I tell you guys about projecting? Whatever Democrats say is exactly what they are doing. Now, just listen. This is exactly what they have been doing.
The rule of law. So democracy, destroying, vandalizing.
Listen.
Destroying, vandalizing this democracy. Destroying, vandalizing this democracy. The rule of law. So I'm sorry. I know some people.
Sounds exactly like what Democrats are doing. And that's why they have low poll numbers, because that is exactly what they're doing. And, when you allow millions of illegals to pour across the country, that's not very democratic, is it? And then you give them licenses and basically rights to vote, and you wanted to get them involved in municipal elections and all this other stuff. Yeah, it's a big problem. But they don't care, because you guys are racists. You're fascists. You're all these other things. It is a really, really wild thing. Let's get into a little bit of what Nick Sorter has been talking about here on the news. President Trump is, I guess we already covered this. He's meeting with the National Guards, getting out there with the troops, getting out with the guys that are making and cleaning up D.C. I love that. I love that, really. Here's the thing. President Trump is now out there patrolling D.C. I freaking love that, dude. It's so funny. It was like that one clip when he's out there with the garbage truck. Fine, if you're not going to do it, I'm going to get there and do it for you. This is probably the most security ever. Mr. President, please be safe. You're stressing the hell out of me, man. Trump is blasting. Did he really? President Trump is blasting YMCA from the White House lawn speakers. I love this. Let me see this. That's great. I love it. You can barely hear it, but that is so funny. That is hilarious. I love that. Good for Trump. As he should be blasting that 100%. Well, we have here Democrat leaders confess to using illegal aliens to steal elections nationwide. Plus, the director of ODNI, Tulsi Gabbard, warns the deep state is still trying to steal American elections. It's a little bit long here. Let's just watch a little bit of clip. This comes from Alex Jones, but let's see what it has to say.
Is that what we're concluding here?
Yes, we have people within the intelligence community. Again, when you look at this example of who President Obama charged with this task, John Brennan, James Clapper, James Comey at the highest levels, but also those who worked as careerists within the intelligence community who did not object to their manipulation and manufacturing of intelligence and actually helped them get there. All moving towards their partisan interests, that they were not happy with the outcome of this election, and they were willing to do whatever it took in order to try to undermine President Trump's administration during his first term in office. These are bad actors that have to be rooted out. Our national security depends on it. The ability for the American people's trust to be earned back depends on exposing the bad actors and holding them accountable. And that's what President Trump is determined to do.
To preserve redistricting in the future is to make sure that that doesn't become the case. If California is, if a year from now, or a month from now, or if a week from now, if your cousin is kidnapped off the street, if UCLA closes down, if we announce that there won't be an election, if the census that we're relying on for the commission's next...
Or whatever, I don't even hear these guys. Well, there you go. We already knew the deep state was still involved, and that's why we covered that one story this morning that Tulsi Gabbard is getting rid of, what is it, like 40% of the ODNI or whatever it is, just the DNI, the national intelligence, that she's finally just going to get rid of 40% of it because it's bloated. You got a bunch of people in there. They're probably spying on you and not doing things they should be doing. So it's ridiculous. Speaking of people doing things they should be doing, I'll tell you what, Trump's cabinet is just doing a phenomenal job. Here's Pete Hegseth out here just honoring the troops, where he's coining 7 guardsmen for exceptional service. You love this. Again, last 4 years, have any of you guys seen this from the Biden administration? Because I don't think so. Pete Hegseth is always out there. He's working with the troops. He's trying to make the troops tougher, more in shape, bringing back our military. The guy's out there all the time.
You good?
Remember how much crap they gave this guy and his family? Oh, he's a drunk. Oh, this or that. Just lying about him. By the way, I've always said this, they could do it to you guys too. The media, all these scumbags will always lie about you. They'll fabricate stuff about anybody that's famous that's trying to make America great again. This guy right here is a service member. This guy's a national treasure, as are all these men and women in uniform. This guy's busting his butt for this country and keeping us safe. And all they did was slander him. All they did was treat him poorly. He don't deserve that. Neither does his family. But that's what they do. That's what they always do. Look exactly what they did to Donald Trump. Put his family through hell for 4 years. And you know what? He keeps coming back and winning. He don't got to do this. He can be retired, like he said. He can go out there and be like Joe Biden, putting his big old feet in the sand in the beaches of Delaware, having a good time, maybe on a yacht somewhere, right, with a bunch of babes and Melania. You know, I don't know, something going on. But it's crazy. It's all crazy how they treat people. It's wrong. Let's go to the chat. We haven't been to the chat all that much. John says, it's great. The lights are on and exposing everything, but without accountability and locking these people up, it will not only continue, but it will get worse. I definitely think there's truth to it. What I will say to kind of just give a little bit of positive out of it was, you know, a lot of these places are losing their jobs. Like you look at what's going on with the USAID, that's all gone. A bunch of those people are see you later. And then you got a bunch of people within the intelligence community, 40% on Tulsi Gabbard's side being let go today. So at least some changes are happening. Matter of fact, this is something I wanted to cover in this morning show. We didn't get to it was, well, what exactly is going on with Doge? We have not heard from Doge in a while. So let's do a few little updates here in terms of what's going on with them. So we have here a classic case of fake news. Politico article is misleading at best and politically motivated at worst. Politico claims that Doge's cost savings are somehow not real because Doge is using a faulty methodology predicted on ceiling values. Politico argues that the ceiling, quote, can far exceed what the government has actually committed to pay out. Theoretically true, practically false. The government will likely max out the ceiling. In federal contracting, ceiling matters because they are almost always maxed out. For example, an analyst of the last 3 years of FPDS data shows that of the 5.3 million awards at contract ends in fiscal year 2022, about 97.64% were spent on the ceiling. So we think there's a pattern here that perhaps a more intrepid reporter might have uncovered. So it looks like they're fighting it off with the fake news. If Politico is still struggling with the why ceiling is in fact the right way to measure savings, and it is not in fact an accounting trick, we invite them to personally guarantee a sample of government contracts for the full ceiling amount, which they're putting their words where their mouth is. If that even makes sense at all, I'm not sure I got the phrase right. I'm pretty tired, but you get what I'm saying. I sound like Joe Biden right now. What's happening? You guys good? You here with me? All right, so let's get a little bit of an update here. Contract updates in the last 5 days, agencies terminated. So here you go. This is always good news. 123 wasteful contracts with a ceiling value of $5.3 billion and savings of $4.3 billion, including an $857,000 DOI contract for a technical advisor. Lagos, Nigeria. Oh, geez, really? Look at this. This is almost $900,000 we're spending on a technical advisor for Lagos. Really? This is like Sesame Street in Iraq. We don't need it. 1.5 million Department of Treasury contract for a $1.5 million contract for word processing and document formatting services, examination training. Word document and formatting services. A training. Really? For Word? You're getting that's like one of the basic things you should have on your resume and know how to do. And if you don't, how about figuring it out on your own using, I don't know, artificial intelligence or maybe YouTube or Rumble or something out there to teach you how to do it. We're going to shell out $1.5 million for a training on a Microsoft Word that's been around for God knows how many years, 1997, 95, Word. I mean, how long has it been? 30 years? Well, there you go. 75% discount. Matter of fact, let's go to the debt clock here really quick. Let's see what we're dealing with. Let's see how much money Doge has saved us and the Democrats haven't. So what is this? Get off my screen. Hold on a second. It's not. I don't want this. Debt clock. Hold on a second. Well, I don't know why it's making me download it. I don't know why it's giving me this crap. Well, here you go. We can look at this. You're at $37.2 trillion in debt. Doge has saved us $603 billion. That's saving you about $5,400. Hey, some savings is better than no savings whatsoever. Now, remember, this concludes July 4th of 2026. So we'll see what comes of it. We'll see what happens with it. With that being said, we've been going on for about an hour. We've had actually a pretty big spike in viewership over here on YouTube, which is kind of surprising. Appreciate everybody tuning in today for an episode of Dark MAGA. Normally we watch a little bit more long form video, but hey, there's a lot of news out there. And the big news today was Donald Trump had a victory with his court case and the penalty not having to be paid. So always love winning, always love spending time with you, and greatly appreciate everybody that decided to come in today and hang out for a little bit. We'll be back here for a normal episode of the Bald Brad Show at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow morning to bring you a lot of different news and make sure you're up to date on what the hell's going on in the world. That's a little bit important. Brad, so how are your students this year so far? Well, we just started. It's the first week. So far, so good. The issue every year is that, unfortunately, to be transparent, a lot of students get placed into certain levels of mathematics and sciences that they have no business being in. And our job is to try to get them to pass. So sometimes you got to lower your level of content to get them to pass. And unfortunately, that's just the state of education it is nowadays. And you can't really necessarily blame the kids for that. In some way, shape, or form, you can. But when you don't place the kids in the right classes and they're still expected to succeed, there's kind of a problem there. So that's an ongoing thing. But, as far as students go, I always enjoy the students. It's not against their personalities or their behavior or anything like that. I always get along with my students really well. I just wish that they were placed into classes that they can succeed in and not placed into classes that, they're struggling in. So that's what I wish. But there's nothing you can do about that. You just got to roll with the punches. But so far, so good. I appreciate them. But it's the first four days, first full week. I am tired as a you-know-what. I'm teaching 3 subjects this year. Boy, and I'm sure you can hear it in my voice. I am dog tired. You're impressive, outstanding, amazing, and awesome YouTuber and streamer. Thank you, man. That's really kind of you, John. I appreciate that. Wow. That's really kind of you to say. I don't think I am, but I appreciate that. I will take the compliment. No Child Left Behind hurt us. Yeah, and they did change it. Barack Obama changed it. It's not No Child Left Behind anymore. I forgot what Barack Obama changed it to. It's kind of the same thing, but just to give you guys an idea, nowadays you can fail a class and you'll still move on to the next level. So what students will do is they'll fail a class, they'll take a summer class or remediation, or they'll do something at a community college or whatever. It's all online. They'll use AI, all this stuff. They haven't learned anything, so they just keep moving up, and it's sad. It's very sad. But like I said, we're just ants, and we're just there to do the work. And my job is not to judge them. My job is to try my darndest to make sure that they can learn as much content as they can, and I can prepare them as much as I possibly can. And sometimes that's a losing battle for me, but at the end of the day, I'm still going to try. And that's what's important. I will pour my heart out and try to make sure that everybody gets a great education, because that's what they're there for. And that's all I can do. Me bitching, moaning, complaining ain't going to change anything. The person's still going to be sitting there, and I got to do everything I can to help them and make sure that they succeed in mathematics. It ain't always easy, but that's my job, and that's what I get paid to do. And I will do it to the best of my ability. And I've always said that. Don't matter where you're from, don't matter what race you are, ethnicity, what faith you belong to, it don't matter. You're in my classroom, you're my student, and my job is to teach you a certain type of math and make sure that you succeed. That's my job. And I will always stand by that. I went to Park Hill South High School and I did broadcasting and journalism class, Brad. Well, damn, if that's coming from a compliment from somebody like you, sir, that has that type of background, that means a hell of a lot to me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's really kind, man. That made my day. Thank you. Well, with that being said, we're going to end it here. I am going to go take a nap. I'm struggling this week. I'm not used to talking from basically 6 a.m. till, like 3:30 straight. So I ain't complaining. I'm just, I need a moment here. I need a moment. Hey, I love you guys too. Thanks, Candy. I love you guys too. Man, do we not have, I've always say this, you guys, we have the best community. You guys are breaking my heart right now. You're making me into a softie. I love you guys too. And I do mean that. Well, I'm a little weird. I'm a weird guy, but I love you guys too. I love hanging out with you. By the way, it means, please don't understand that. Please think I'm not complaining when I say I'm tired. I really love hanging out with you guys. Like it's the coolest thing in the world, man. It really is. So the fact that you guys sit here and listen to me is crazy to me. And I get to hang out with you all. So I appreciate that. Have a great night. Appreciate you, Krager, for showing up. Thanks, brother. Jericho, Candy, Aqua, Karen. I mean, everybody's here. Everybody's here. Bats, the whole crew. Dual Helix. Helix, I feel like I haven't seen you in a while, but it's good seeing you too in the chat. Hell yeah. Love that. Some people are just listening. It's good to see all of you. Thanks for joining. Q, Descendants, Miss Mom. I see all you guys in the chat. Thanks for always showing up. Thank you for always supporting me. Always having my 6. I always have yours. And with that being said, I'll see you tomorrow morning here on the Bald Brad Show. Pray for this country, folks. Take care.